I'm Mark Bieland, the Community Liaison at Avow, and I'm going to discuss a document called The 5 Wishes, which is a living will published by Aging with Dignity. The 5 Wishes document allows you to state your wishes in writing as to whether or not you would want life support if you weren't able to communicate. This form is often confused with something called the DNR, the Do Not Resuscitate Order. Now, the DNR is for someone who would prefer not to be resuscitated if they stopped breathing. It needs to be signed by a physician. The DNR form is very common with people who are at end of life, such as hospice patients. But the 5 Wishes document is for anyone who's 18 years or older and could state what their preferences would be, just in case something were to happen and they were not able to communicate. The best example I can think of as far as the importance of having a living will is the case of Terri Schiavo. She was 26 years old, and as she was leaving her apartment to go to work, she had a heart attack. She was resuscitated, but unfortunately, she didn't have a living will. It was unfortunate because she had suffered extensive brain damage by not getting enough air to her brain between the heart attack and being resuscitated. She was in a coma, and her medical team provided various types of therapies for 2 years, but the therapies didn't get her out of her coma. And her doctors at that point believed that she would be permanently comatose. Her husband at that point felt as though she wouldn't want to live that way and asked for her life support to be removed. Her parents, on the other hand, disagreed and asked that she remain on life support. Now, this became a huge controversy. This went to court several times, and it lasted about 15 years. And then her life support was removed. Now, we know what her parents preferred, and we know what her husband preferred. But what would Terri have preferred? I think that's the important question. And unfortunately, none of us could answer that because she didn't have a living will. And that is why it's important for you to have some form of a living will. And the 5 Wishes document is an extensive version of that form. For example, the first wish, which is to choose a healthcare surrogate, allows you 3 choices. Your first choice would be your healthcare surrogate that would make decisions for you based on what you have communicated that you would want or not want regarding life support. Now, if your first choice was unwilling to or unable to be your surrogate, then it would go to the second choice and then the third choice. But it's really important to know that before you choose a healthcare surrogate, have the conversations with your family members and others as well, because a person that may be the closest to you may not be the best choice because they may be too emotional depending on what your wishes are. So it's very important before actually choosing your healthcare surrogates to have conversations with those who you are considering and make sure that they will support whatever your decisions are. The second wish is what type of medical treatment you would prefer. And there's different areas where you can choose. There's permanent brain damage, close to death, being in a coma. And in each of those areas, you can choose whether you would want life support, not want life support. And the 5 Wishes gives you a third option, which is that you would want life support if the physician believes that it may help improve your condition, but you would want it removed if the physician believed it wouldn't improve your condition. The third wish is how comfortable you would like to be. And this is a good opportunity to learn a little bit about how hospice could not only help you as far as comfort if you were to get into that situation, but also help your family with their emotional and spiritual needs. The fourth wish is how you would like to be treated. Under this section, they talk about whether you want people visiting you and also whether or not you would want to spend your last days at home. Again, hospice can help facilitate this. So along with this document, it's good to learn as much as you can about hospice care and incorporate that into your living will. Wish 5 is what you want your loved ones to know. Part of this section allows you to say how much you love them and appreciate them, which, by the way, I recommend you do now in person, but it still gives you that opportunity to put in writing how you feel about your loved ones. And it also allows you to dictate whether or not you would want to be buried or cremated or have your organs donated. So there's a lot of great information in the 5 wishes that you would not have with the standard one-page form that basically just gives you 2 choices of a healthcare surrogate and several yes or no answers to the different conditions of as far as whether you want life support. Now, you do have to sign this document and have 2 witnesses. The witnesses need to be 18 years or older. They can't be your healthcare provider or any of the surrogates that you had chosen. And after you and the witnesses sign the document, it's important to make copies and not only have your healthcare surrogates have copies, but also any other family members that you would want to make sure know what your wishes would be if you were in a situation where you required life support. And you could have this document scanned into your medical records. Now, if you have any further questions, you could contact the Avow Foundation at 239-261-4404 or at avowcares.org.